Good evening. Hope everybody is well. Huh, man. Just got done coughing my head off because there's something psychological about me starting the show that no matter what, I start coughing. It is weird. Um, of course, smoking things might not have helped, but that's totally beside the point. Um, anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I, telling you, things as far as the news is not getting any better. Clearly, not getting any better. Still continuing to keep an eye on multiple situations as watching as they unfold. Not looking good. And I'm just being honest. I don't have a ton for you tonight, however. I've got, 6 tabs open, I guess, to talk about. And then, of course, the headlines. Other than that, as far as updates, I don't know of any updates to give you. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff going on. Did shopping today, so Blue got some bananas, so she's clearly thrilled about that. And other than that, just been a normal day. Anyway, like I said, I don't have really anything to add. Pardon me. Figured we'd pretty much jump right in and get the news out of the way. One moment. Man, my sinuses just give me a fit. So anyway, figured we'd just jump right on into the news and get it done. So, EU country warns citizens of 10 difficult winters ahead. Belgium is facing up to 10 difficult winters, but is about to leap 20 years forward by getting rid of its dependency on fossil fuels. Oh no. Hang on, let me put on my glasses and my hip waders because, crap's about to get deep. Let's see. Prime Minister Alexander De Croo said on Sunday he was commenting on the looming energy crisis exacerbated by sanctions on Moscow over the Ukraine conflict and a decrease in Russian natural gas supplies. Decrease? How? I think you're cut off. Speaking to VRT TV, De Croo claimed that the conflict in Ukraine had affected the European economy much more than the COVID pandemic could ever have had. However, he said that the hardships are worth it because this is about the stability and security of the European continent. When we get it under control, it will be 5 difficult years. It will be 10 difficult years with bad policy. But I also said that we as a country and European continent can handle this if we get all noses in the same direction, De Croo pointed out. He argued that the current situation has a bright side. We can also jump 20 years forward in terms of detaching from fossil fuels and breaking away from countries that we don't like to trade with, the Prime Minister noted. Okay, hold up. Here's the problem. You have people that are going to be freezing to death if they don't have a way to heat their homes. So while you're detaching from fossil fuels, your citizens are going to be dying. It's probably not really a good plan, and I really don't consider that jumping 20 years forward. It's just a bad spot, I think there were a lot of people that were incredibly naive. I think there were a lot of people that were incredibly ambitious. And, I am probably one of the biggest proponents of electric vehicles and the like that you're going to find. But we're not ready yet. We're just simply not ready yet. Someday we will be, but that's not today. And any countries that are going to try to continue with this green policy and detaching from fossil fuels is going to be seeing some hard times. And it was just way too soon for all of us. That there wasn't any one of us that was ready enough, not even Germany, when it came to getting away from fossil fuels. It is what it is. Can we? Yeah. Are there systems that we could have went to? Tons of them. Tons of them. Man, people have been creating and inventing things for a very long time. There are incredible ways to achieve energy production. Ways you would never ever dream of. But you won't get to see them. Because the energy companies buy those things up and make sure that nobody else can produce it. And then you're stuck buying from them. Same with the medical community, right? There's no money in curing you. They just want you sick enough that you need to keep coming back and getting prescriptions. But they don't want to kill you off. They just want you as a lifelong customer. Same with fossil fuels, right? They just want to make sure that you're paying whatever they decide at the time is a fair rate. It's kind of crazy how that works out as well. Anyway, 1 second here. Interesting. Ooh. Now that's news. That is news. So just straight from the desk. I mean, it's just posted on our local page here. This is just local news. Most of you are going to be like, I don't give a damn. The city council is holding a public hearing tomorrow. That would be tomorrow. To consider the annexation agreement with MRE Portfolio 1 LLC. Now, we're not talking about ready-to-eat meals. To annex 41.78 acres to the north of Route 40 across from KFC and Taco Bell. In Collinsville, MRE Portfolio 1 LLC requested an approval for a special use to allow for a cannabis dispensary. And it says, are they trying to bring in a cannabis shop on property that connects to the high school? That's funny. No, I don't think they're trying to connect it to the hospital, but apparently, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. It was, it came up for a vote before, and they voted it down. They voted to not have a cannabis dispensary in town. I thought that was the dumbest thing that this town has ever done, and I still think it was the dumbest thing this town has ever done. You know, one thing about this town, it's in Illinois. As you know, Illinois is known to be a very liberal state. However, that's not really so much the case. Illinois just has some very liberal big cities, but pretty much the rest of Illinois is pretty red. Well, where we live, it's as like ruby damn red as you're gonna get. And so, there were disagreements during the whole COVID debacle. There was a strong fight against masking, against, of course, vaccinations, and the lot. I mean, it just... And I got to thinking, the dumbest damn thing that this town could do would wipe out such a huge source of tax money. Because if they were bringing in tax money from the sale of marijuana, they could tell the county, the state, the federal government to go fly a kite when it came to, demanding that you mask those kids, or that you do this, or that you have this critical race theory, or this whatever the hell they call that other weird crap they're teaching. Because again, that's another one of those areas to where our town has resisted. And so, that's been a ongoing threat with different governors and stuff like that. Is that, we'll just cut funding. We'll just cut funding. It'd be nice to be in a position of strength to where Highland can put up its middle fingers and say, okay, go right ahead. Hold back your funding. We'll hold back ours. Put yourself in a position of strength, not a position of handout. And Highlands, it seems like, has that another opportunity to do that, and I really hope they pick up on it. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. You guys don't give a damn about where we live. Anyway, back to the article here. It said last week the Belgian government, I know we're like 10 miles away from this article at this point. The Belgian government published a plan to combat soaring energy prices. It set out measures to decrease energy consumption, such as lowering the temperature in government buildings to 19 degrees, limiting use of air conditioning to a maximum of 27 degrees, and ordering to switch off lighting in federal properties and monuments between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. According to the paper, the country should be able to get through the winter without any major problems, and might even be able to help its neighbors. In August, inflation in Belgium jumped to 9.94%, just short of the 1976 record of 9.96%, according to Statbel Statistics Agency. So, crazy, yo. Hang on. Okay. Have a sip of coffee here. Oh, man. I'm a bit tired tonight. Have a vape here and we'll continue on our merry way. Man. Alright. A huge global storm is starting, Moscow warns. The world is about to experience major turbulence as a result of illogical moves by Western nations, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said. Most likely, a huge global storm is starting, Peskov warned in an interview with TASS on Monday. In many ways, there are objective reasons for that, but there are also subjective reasons for this beginning storm, which are linked to absolutely illogical and often absurd decisions and actions of the authorities in the U.S., Europe, the EU, and individual European countries, he said. The sanctions imposed by the U.S., the EU, and some other nations on Russia over its military operation in Ukraine have backfired, causing a spike in energy prices and record inflation across the West. In this situation, Russia still manages to maintain macroeconomic stability. Very intense, thoughtful, and consistent work is being carried out in order to achieve that, Peskov noted. As restrictions are being artificially introduced in the West, Russia's trade and economic relations are understandably starting to focus more on the East, he added. However, the Kremlin press secretary, who was speaking at the launch of the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, insisted that it was completely unfair to say that we have turned to the East just now. The Asia-Pacific region has always been a very important component for trade and economic relations and energy dialogue and other areas. So, I would agree, and I would agree that storm is just starting. I mean, it is just starting. Hang on. Coffee. Yeah, I did shopping today. I was I was initially excited, like a week or so ago. I know I said something on the show. Because the coffee that I drink, the Folgers 100% Colombian, was showing back up in the store. And yeah, it was high. It was like $13 and some odd cents for the 37-ounce container, which is high. It was pre-craziness. It was like 9 something. But the thing is, when I went to do the shopping, the option that I even had saved, it was the very product, was marked up to $31.50. So we didn't get any coffee today. That kind of sucked. I didn't get sugar either. I will say this: the prices are continuing to go up in our area. The food prices, they're still rising. They're not leveling off as of yet. Not yet. Didn't get any eggs. Let me look real quick, because that's got me curious. I didn't even try to get eggs today, so. Yeah, coming back down. Nice. For the 60 count of eggs that we normally get, right now they want $10.38 right this moment, for 60 eggs. It was 13 something is what it was up to, and normally, what was it, 6 something? Like something like that, $6 some odd cents, somewhere around $7, I think, for the 60 count. That was what we used to pay. So still up, but not nearly as bad as it was. So just hang in there, folks, the best you can. It's stupid. It is. It's just so stupid. I don't know how people are going to do it. I have no idea. I mean, you know us, we're preppers, so we have that, I guess, instinct when we buy stuff that we try to put back a little bit. And, there's different things that we aren't getting new. We're using up what we had in stock, because either there isn't anything new or the price is so expensive that it's just not worth getting. Like coffee. I'm not paying $31 or $31.50 for a 37-ounce thing of coffee. Not happening. I don't like the 13 something. But, I would pay that for Thomas, so I'm not going to bitch about it too much with Folgers because of the current situation. Now, hell, I'd hate to see what it is for a big thing of Thomas. Alright, anyway. Sitting here talking about everything besides what's in front of our face. Hey, we can do that. Goodness. There. I clicked like 4 or 5 times to try to close that page. Kiev urges Crimeans to prepare shelters. Yeah, it's getting kind of real when they start telling you that stuff. Kiev has issued a warning to people living in what it called occupied territories, including Crimea, to prepare shelter and stock up on supplies. The appeal was posted to Twitter on Monday by an advisor to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Mikhail Podolyak urged residents of the occupied territories, including the Crimean Peninsula, to follow the officials' recommendations during occupation measures. Furthermore, people should prepare a bomb shelter, stock up on a sufficient amount of water, and charge power banks right now. Podolyak concluded his warning with the line, "Everything will be Ukraine." The warning comes after Podolyak, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, probably not, announced last week that Ukrainian authorities are developing evacuation routes for Ukrainians living in Crimea who want to leave the island during the active deoccupation. Kiev has repeatedly insisted that it considers Crimea, which became a part of Russia following a referendum in 2014, to be an occupied territory and has vowed to seize the peninsula by any means necessary. The U.S.-led NATO alliance also considers Crimea to be illegally annexed Ukrainian territory and has demanded that Moscow return the region to Ukrainian control. A U.S. official told Politico last month that Washington had given Ukraine its blessing to strike targets of its choosing in Crimea. Kiev's warning to Crimeans comes after months of warnings of a counteroffensive in the south of the country, vowing to reclaim the whole of Donbass, parts of the Zaporozhye and Kharkov regions currently held by Russian forces, as well as Crimea, which is part of Russia. Yeah, I love how RT included that, which is part of Russia. You're like, yeah. So I don't see this getting any better, and I don't think that Ukraine is gonna have any headway with this. I think Putin's about to put the hammer down. I really do. I think he's getting tired of messing with it, and I really do think he's about to put the hammer down. I mean, you have to understand. It's Russia. They aren't even trying to stamp their boot down. They're just trying to take their big toe and smash the ones it finds being the problem. It's not trying to stamp down on the country, because it could have done that in a single day. EU arms stocks drastically depleted, says Burrell, and this is something that I'm concerned with around the world, that all these nations are going to be, giving all their weaponry over to Ukraine, and then we're going to wind up in a global conflict, and we won't even have any weapons, Stocks of weapons within the European Union are greatly depleted as member states continue to supply arms and ammunition to Ukraine for use in its conflict with Russia, EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said on Monday. The military stocks of most member states have been, I wouldn't say exhausted, but we depleted in a high proportion because we have been providing a lot of capacity to the Ukrainians, Borrell said during a debate with lawmakers in the European Parliament, adding that the arsenal will have to be refilled. The top diplomat said EU member states must start coordinating their military spending to avoid too many duplications and a waste of money. If countries don't coordinate properly, the result will be a big waste of money because this is not a way of canceling our duplications. There are a lot of them, or filling our gaps. EU countries have been sending weapons to Ukraine since Russia launched its military operation in the neighboring country in February, and Borrell has since discussed launching a bloc-wide training mission for Ukrainian troops. On Monday, the chief diplomat said Brussels should have responded more quickly to requests for training Ukrainian troops a year ago. Unhappily, we didn't, and today we regret it. We regret that last August we were not fulfilling this request, he said, adding that we would be in a better situation if the EU had acted at the time. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about any of this stuff. How do we even know that these countries aren't being wheeled and dealed behind closed doors? That countries like the United States and, say, member countries of the EU aren't getting together with Russia. Oh, yeah, you got to make it look good. Make the struggle look good. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm not saying it's not what's going on. I'm saying I keep open all possibilities because I would be completely foolish to think that there is even an inkling of the possibility that I know the complete 100% truth of what's going on on that level. None of us do. Alright, got 2 tabs open. Get a few vapes though. Oh man. I found the next article interesting. And I'll be more than happy to tell you why. Pentagon reveals plans for hypersonic tech. Huh. That's interesting. Didn't we have a successful test of a hypersonic weapon? Wait. Didn't they claim to have like 2 successful tests of a hypersonic missile? Apparently they forgot that they told us that they were successful a couple of times. Yeah, it happens. U.S. Department of Defense has asked private companies to come up with proposals for a high-speed test aircraft for the military, according to the Pentagon. The firms should submit their proposals to the U.S. Defense Innovation Unit. Instead of DUI, it's DIU, right? Which champions the adoption of commercial technology in the military by September 16. Pentagon is seeking to alleviate pressure on its testing infrastructure through a program called Hypersonic and High Cadence Airborne Testing Capabilities. Earlier, Barry Kirkendall, the DIU's technical director for space, told CFiresNet, news portal that the project aims to clear some of the log jams that have slowed down the development of hypersonic programs in recent years. I mean, not being able to successfully build one that doesn't blow up? You mean those types of slowdowns? Any aircraft must meet a number of criteria, including not blowing up, um, including reaching a speed of Mach 5 plus without blowing up, have a maneuverable non-ballistic flight profile, be able to collect near real-time data, and accommodate at least 2 payloads with at least 2 placement options. Huh? Now we're getting picky. First, don't you think you ought to be able to get one that flies fast enough without blowing up? The move by the DIU to solicit the private sector support comes amid fears that our government's got their head up their asses and can't get it done. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, I went off script. Amid fears that the U.S. may be lagging behind Russia and China in the development of hypersonic technologies. However, in mid-August, Kathleen Hicks, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense, claimed that this is not the case. Countries around the world have been focusing on hypersonic development given that such weapons can bypass modern air defenses by using maneuverable glide vehicles that make their flight path almost unpredictable. In late June, however, the Pentagon ran into issues when a test of a U.S. hypersonic weapon failed due to an anomaly that prevented the full trial of the system. But don't forget, they forgot about their successful tests. Forgot. You know. Successful tests. Right. Our government's so full of crap. Alright. And I thought this was a little nuts. I just, I mean, come on. When is enough enough? Israel admits journalists probably killed accidentally. Israel will not be opening criminal investigations into its soldiers over the killing of a Palestinian American journalist, Shireen Abu Akia, in May. The Israel Defense Forces admitted on Monday that there is a high possibility that the journalist was accidentally hit by Israeli army fire. You know, the journalist that they swore up and down that was hit by Palestinian? Yeah, that one. They swore that, right? An investigation of the incident launched by the Israeli military found that the 51-year-old Abu Akla, I don't know if it's Akli or how that's pronounced, was likely shot by an Israeli soldier who was under wild and indiscriminate gunfire and misidentified her as a Palestinian combatant. You know, because he couldn't tell with the big press badge. The IDF added that it does not rule out the possibility that the journalist was killed by Palestinian gunfire. Yeah, they're still trying to hold on to that, although it was an IDF round. Chief of Staff for the Israeli Army Aviv Kahavi stated that Abu Akli's death was a devastating incident which occurred during operational activity to prevent Palestinian terror, and that the journalist was killed amid an exchange of fire that lasted for almost an hour. The IDF said it will not be pursuing criminal charges or prosecution against any of the soldiers involved in the incident, as there was no suspicion of a criminal offense that warrants the opening of an MPCID investigation. Of course not, right? I mean, you investigate yourself to know whether or not you should investigate yourself. And I mean, what could you ask for? I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. I mean, they put the effort out, right? They investigated. It gets me. And what gets me even more is that they can find people to support that kind of a logic. I mean, look here in the U.S. Look at how many people support the idea of the government investigating itself. I mean, that number of people has waned considerably in the latter years, but it's still pretty high. All right. Let me have a couple of vapes real quick. Fun times. I actually charged up a drone battery yesterday, I think. And the sunset was bunk. And then I was thinking about going out today, but again, sunset was bunk. Just too many clouds. So, try again tomorrow. Alright, and there was one last night. After I closed shop, there was a headline that came out. Germany will get through this winter, says Scholes. UK's new Prime Minister to be revealed. Of course, you already know that now. Germany facing coal shortage, says Bloomberg. Imagine that. UK factories facing bleakest winter in 50 years, says Bloomberg. Eastern Economic Forum kicks off in Russia's Vladivostok. IAEA mission leaves Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, says media. 2 Russian embassy workers killed in suicide bombing. Aussie artist pressured to paint over peace mural. Winter blackouts unlikely but possible, says Scholes. China names cyber attack culprit. European gas prices soar. Euro nosedives to 20-year low. Belgium should face the bitter truth, says a mayor. Kremlin makes prediction about gas supplies to the EU. Liz Truss becomes new UK Prime Minister. A Russian FM mourns slain embassy staff. Enforcing Russian oil price cap is problematic, says Washington Post. A Russian court revokes license of long-running liberal newspaper. Details about slain Russian embassy workers revealed. Ditching Russian gas, no way to reach climate goals, says Putin. OPEC Plus to cut oil output. Ukraine molds legalizing porn. Israel U-turns on controversial requirement for foreigners. Russian ex-journalist Savernov sentenced to 22 years for treason. Ukrainian envoy apologizes for kill Russians interview. Incoming UK PM may be disaster for entire country, says Scottish leader. Putin calls Russia true land of the rising sun. Members of the controversial Pussy Riot fined in Switzerland. China rejects West call for Russian oil price cap. UK bolsters training for Ukrainian military, says Sky News. Germany can't avoid recession, says Bloomberg. Russia punishes Sean Penn and Ben Stiller. I'm sure they're upset. Kiev urges Crimeans to prepare I read that story. Let's see. Ukraine offers to save EU from energy crisis. Well, that's interesting. How's Ukraine going to deal with it? I know they got a power plant for now. For now. NATO struggles to supply winter uniforms to Ukraine, says Der Spiegel. Chris Rock dismisses Will Smith's hostage video apology. UK Home Secretary resigns. U.S. becomes more aggressive in Ukraine support, says The Hill. And I do expect that to ratchet up. Israel admits journalist probably killed... Oh, I've read that one. ISIS claims responsibility for deadly bombing near Russian embassy. And half of Brits disappointed with trust, says PM, says a poll. That would be it. That is what I got. No more headlines up there. So I am gonna take that as a cue to get the heck out of here and relax a little bit before bed. So not really. Probably just gonna close things up and go ahead and go straight to bed because it's just the way we usually do things. Anyway, I am getting out of here. I hope you all have a good night. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.